when the room waits for your compromise. There is a moment when the room leans toward you. Not loudly, not aggressively. A pause, a look, an expectation that you will adjust. Your hands rest on the table. The surface is cold. Fingertips numb slightly as silence stretches. Someone clears their throat. They assume you will bend, because most people do. The body tightens, not from fear, but from recognition. You've been here before. Most people believe discipline is about effort, about pushing, about finding strength at the right moment. That belief is why they soften when pressure arrives. They negotiate. They smile. They explain themselves. The shoulders drop. The spine follows. It usually starts clean. A routine kept for weeks. A promise held quietly. Then a request interrupts it. A friend jokes. A colleague sighs. A family member asks for flexibility. The clock moves. The air warms. The habit fractures without drama. Long before modern noise, monks and warriors noticed something uncomfortable. Those who lasted were not impressive. They were predictable. Their bodies moved before permission. Knees folded onto cold floors at the same hour. Belts tied without ceremony. Breath counted itself when the mind searched for excuses. That kind of steadiness irritates people. It removes options. It exposes how much of life is negotiated away. If you feel the pull to soften right now, name it. Write the habit you've been bending on lately. One sentence. No explanation, the man who always starts again. There is someone like you. He stands in the kitchen before dawn, tile cold through thin socks, kettle humming low. His phone lights the counter with yesterday's promises. The body remembers the plan. The mind delays. He rubs his eyes, dry and gritty, while the house sleeps and no one is watching. He is capable. People say so. They say it with a smile that expects agreement. At work, chairs scrape as meetings begin. He sits straight, shoulders tight, nodding at the right times. When asked, he says he's disciplined. The word tastes familiar. It has never stayed. His routine looks solid from a distance. Same notebook. Same alarm. Shoes by the door. But every morning carries a clause. A quiet exception. The breath shortens when the alarm rings. The hand hovers. The room is warm. The bed holds. He tells himself he will make it up later, and the body loosens as if forgiven. At the gym, he laces shoes while others glance over. The rubber floor smells sharp. Music thumps. He starts strong, movements crisp, sweat blooming at the collar. Then a text buzzes. A friend laughs nearby. He slows without deciding to. No one challenges him. That absence feels like permission. At dinner, plans are discussed. Someone suggests moving the time. He feels the pull behind the eyes, heat building. Saying no would be awkward. He says yes instead. Plates clink. The choice feels small. His posture rounds. Later, alone, the legs ache with a dull, unresolved weight. He does not lack information. He reads, listens, collects methods. The notebook fills with clean lines. But when pressure arrives, his hands look for relief. He negotiates because he believes he must. Each negotiation teaches the body a lesson it remembers the next time. Weeks pass. The chain breaks quietly. No crisis. Just drift. He tells himself tomorrow will be cleaner. The promise lands softly and dissolves by morning. Friends joke that he's busy. Family praises his flexibility. He accepts both with a thin smile that doesn't reach the jaw. One evening, rain taps the window. He sets out clothes anyway. The floor is cold. He kneels to tie laces, fingers stiff, breath shallow. His phone vibrates again. He ignores it, not with force, but with a stillness that surprises him. The room feels tighter. The silence presses back. This is where the story usually resets. But something in his body hesitates, waiting for a different response, where discipline was never a decision. Before the city woke, a bell rang once inside stone walls. Not loud. Just enough to cut sleep. A monk's eyes opened without complaint. The mat was thin. The floor beneath it colder than memory. Knees folded down. Breath left the lungs in a slow cloud. No one checked how he felt. In that place, no one discussed discipline. There was no praise for effort. The body moved because it always had. Robes were folded the same way each morning. Hands washed in the same basin. Water bit at the skin. Fingers stiffened. The sequence did not change when the mind resisted. Resistance was irrelevant. Outside the temple, a traveler watched from a distance. He shifted his weight, boots damp with morning dew. He expected commands, correction, force. Instead, he saw repetition. He saw men who did not look strong refuse to break. Their stillness unsettled him. There was nothing to push against. Back in the modern morning, the man from the kitchen remembers this without knowing why. He stands straighter while waiting for coffee. The counter is cold against his palms. He does not check his phone. The room feels smaller, tighter, as if watching him. When his partner asks if plans can move later, the question lands heavier than before. At work, the same thing happens. A meeting runs long. Someone jokes about skipping training tonight. Eyes flick toward him. He feels heat behind the eyes, a pulse steadying in the neck. Saying yes would smooth the moment. Saying no would sharpen it. His mouth dries as silence opens. In the old places, silence was not a gap to fill. It was the rule. A swordsman practiced cuts at the same hour regardless of weather. Rain-soaked sleeves. Grip tightened. The sword did not care. Villagers learned his schedule and stepped aside. Predictability became a boundary. The man shifts in his chair. His spine presses against the backrest. He hears himself say he will leave on time. No explanation. The words feel heavier than they should. Someone raises an eyebrow. Another laughs it off. The room exhales, but not in relief. Later, as he walks out, shoes striking pavement in a steady rhythm, he notices the difference. There was no surge. No victory. Just alignment. The body did not feel proud. It felt correct. Like placing something back where it belongs. At home, he sets clothes out again. The ritual is quiet. Fabric against skin. Belt laid straight. The act draws a line through the evening. His partner watches, says nothing. The air between them tightens slightly, unfamiliar. This is not motivation. It is the first memory of a time when bending was never considered, the quiet negotiation that breaks mornings. It rarely feels like failure. It feels like reason. The alarm sounds. The room is dim. Cold air slips into the lungs. The body is heavy, eyelids thick, joints stiff from yesterday. He sits up anyway. Feet touch the floor. The shock runs up the legs. For a moment, there is no argument. Then the mind arrives. Just today. Just a little later. His hand pauses on the edge of the bed. The mattress still holds warmth. Outside, the street is silent. No witnesses. The pulse quickens, not from effort, but from calculation. If he delays, no one will know. The shoulders soften. The decision pretends to be mercy. In the temple, this moment was never discussed. A monk with fever still stood. Briefly. Sweat on the neck. Breath uneven. Others noticed and said nothing. The chain mattered more than comfort. To break it required ceremony. To keep it required nothing at all. Here, the man reaches for his phone. Light flares. Messages wait. The body reacts before thought, spine bending slightly, chin dropping. Somewhere else, someone else has already decided their day for them. He absorbs it without resistance. At breakfast, a colleague texts, "Can we move the deadline?" The question carries no weight in the message itself. The weight comes from habit. He feels it behind the eyes, a dull pressure. Saying no would slow things down. Saying yes would be smooth. He exhales, dry mouth easing as the familiar answer leaves his thumbs. At the gym that evening, the pattern repeats. He warms up. Muscles loosen. Sweat beads along the back. Then someone waves him over. Conversation drifts. Laughter cuts through the air. The set ends early. No one objects. The absence of friction feels like approval. In old training halls, approval was not given. A swordsman repeated the same cut while others watched in silence. Arms burned. Grip slipped with sweat. The body corrected itself because it had to. If he stopped early, the room would not react. That was the punishment. Driving home, the man notices the fatigue is different. Not physical. Something else has thinned. His movements feel less anchored. At dinner, when plans shift again, he agrees too quickly. The fork clinks against the plate. His jaw tightens. Someone smiles, relieved. That night, he lies awake. The ceiling fan hums. Muscles twitch with unused energy. He reviews the day, not angrily, but with a quiet irritation that sits in the chest. The negotiations were small, sensible, defensible, and they left him hollow. The problem is not weakness. It is that the negotiation happens at all. Tomorrow morning, the alarm will ring again. And the room will wait to see what bends first. The day choice quietly disappears. Rain hits the pavement before dawn, steady and unapologetic. He stands by the door, jacket already on, shoes tied tight enough to dull the toes. The smell of wet concrete leaks through the cracked window. For a moment, the old calculation starts to rise. Weather as excuse. Comfort as reason. Then it stops, mid-breath. There is nothing to decide. The body moves because it was already moving. The door opens. Cold air presses against the chest. Shoulders tense. He steps out anyway. The rain darkens the fabric immediately. A neighbor glances from under an umbrella, surprised. No comment. Just a pause that lingers behind him. In the old halls, this was the rule. Training began at the same hour. If snow fell, sleeves grew heavy. If heat rose, sweat blurred vision. No adjustment was made to the schedule. Only to the body. Choice had been removed long before the moment arrived. As he runs, breath rough at first, then settling, he notices something unfamiliar. The effort feels cleaner. There is no argument dragging behind it. The legs ache, dull and honest. Pulse steadies. The rain stops mattering. Cars pass, tires hissing. Drivers stare, briefly confused by someone who did not stay inside. Later, at work, the same pattern holds. A meeting overruns. Someone suggests pushing his part to tomorrow. The room waits. He feels the eyes, the soft expectation. His back presses into the chair. Hands rest flat on the table, would cool against the skin. He hears himself say it will be done today. No justification follows. The silence stretches. A colleague shrugs. Another nods. The moment moves on, but something has shifted. The room learns something about him. He feels it in the way conversations angle slightly away afterward. In ancient training, this was how boundaries formed. A swordsman practiced at fixed times. Villagers learned not to interrupt. Not because he was harsh, but because he was unmoved. Predictability hardened into respect. The schedule became a wall no one tested twice. That evening, his phone lights up with invitations. Dinner moved later. Drinks added. He stands in the kitchen, hands on the counter, skin cooling as the day drains out. The routine is clear. He replies with a simple refusal. No apology. The message sends. A pause follows. Then a joke comes back. He does not respond. At home, the ritual continues. Clothes laid out. Alarm set. The repetition carries no emotion. It is mechanical in the best sense. The body relaxes into it, like placing weight onto solid ground. His partner watches from the doorway, says he's been different lately. The comment is not warm or cold. Just observant. Lying in bed, he notices the absence. The usual mental rehearsal is gone. No planning. No bargaining. The ceiling fades into darkness. Muscles unwind slowly. Sleep arrives without negotiation. Removing choice does not feel heroic. It feels narrow, and that narrowness is starting to close doors other people expect to stay open. Continuity when the body is not impressive. Some mornings offer nothing heroic. He wakes with a dull ache in the legs, joints thick, shoulders tight from sleep. The room feels heavier than usual. Breath tastes stale. He sits on the edge of the bed, spine slouched for a second longer than planned. The body registers resistance. It moves anyway. Training that day is smaller, shorter, quieter. He does not chase intensity. He ties his shoes, fingers stiff, and steps outside. The air is cool, skin prickling. Neighbors pass with coffee cups, glancing once, then away. No one applauds restraint. No one notices moderation. In older disciplines, this was expected. A monk with fever still sat. Not long. Just long enough to keep the chain intact. Sweat dampened robes. Breath shook. Others did not intervene. The act was not about quality. It was about continuity. He feels that difference now. When energy dips, he reduces range, not frequency. When pain appears, he shifts pace, not presence. The rule is quiet and inflexible. Something must happen. The exact shape is secondary. The body learns the pattern faster than the mind. At work, this shows up in subtle ways. A task he would normally push off still gets done, but without polish. He submits it on time. The edges are rough. A colleague raises an eyebrow. He feels heat behind the eyes, the familiar urge to explain. He does not. The explanation would be another performance. Ancient training halls were full of unfinished beauty. Cuts practiced slowly when strength was gone. Forms repeated at half speed. The purpose was not excellence in the moment. It was the refusal to disappear. Later, he meets friends for dinner. They comment that he seems tired. Someone suggests skipping the early morning tomorrow. The table is warm under his forearms. The smell of food fills the space. He feels the social pull, gentle but persistent. He shakes his head once. No story follows. The conversation stutters, then reroutes around him. Back home, the ritual continues. The alarm is set. Clothes laid out. The repetition is almost boring now. That boredom feels like stability. The body recognizes it. Muscles loosen slightly as the sequence completes. Lying down, he notices the difference from before. There is no spike of pride. No satisfaction to savor. Just a quiet sense of alignment, like a joint settling back into place. Sleep comes unevenly, but it comes. Perfection would be impressive. Continuity is threatening. It tells the world you will not vanish when conditions deteriorate. And that message does not sit comfortably with people who rely on your flexibility, when friction is handled before it exists. The interruption rarely announces itself. It slips in sideways. A late message. A changed schedule. A quiet emergency that borrows urgency from tone alone. He stands in the hallway, phone warm in his hand, screen lighting his face. The body reacts first. Chest tightens. Jaw sets. The familiar urge is there, to assess, to weigh, to improvise a response that keeps everyone calm. He notices the urge without moving. In older disciplines, this moment was already settled. When rain fell, training moved indoors. When exhaustion appeared, intensity dropped. When a blade chipped, practice shifted to footwork. The response existed before the problem. No thought was required. He feels that structure now, not as a plan, but as a boundary. When the message asks him to stay late, the answer has already been lived. He types a refusal with steady thumbs. No explanation. The phone vibrates once with a follow-up. He does not reply. At work the next day, the atmosphere is slightly altered. Conversations angle away. Someone makes a comment about being inflexible. He feels it in the shoulders, a mild tension pulling backward. He keeps walking. The floor hums under his steps. The body stays aligned. In the dojo, this reaction was expected. A practitioner who did not adjust on command unsettled others. Not because he was aggressive, but because he was unreadable. When requests failed to move him, people learned to stop asking. Later, an unexpected obstacle appears. The gym is closed. Lights off. Doors locked. He stands outside, breath fogging the glass, hands cooling rapidly. In the past, this would have ended the session. Today, there is no pause. He turns, jogs toward the park, shoes slapping wet ground. The cold bites harder. Muscles adapt. The body does not ask permission. A passerby watches from a bus stop, puzzled. No comment. Just a look that lingers longer than comfort allows. He keeps moving. That night, at dinner, plans change again. A family member asks him to rearrange the morning. The table is crowded. Plates are warm. He feels the eyes. The request is wrapped in expectation, not demand. He declines quietly. The silence is heavier this time. Someone exhales sharply. Another changes the subject. He does not feel proud. He feels narrow. Contained. The boundary is now visible to others, and that visibility creates pressure. Invitations begin to adjust around him instead of through him. Some disappear altogether. Before sleep, he prepares for the morning. The sequence is the same. Alarm set. Clothes placed. The body responds with familiarity. Breath slows. The day has already been decided, and that decision happened long ago. Pre-deciding responses does not make life easier. It makes it thinner. And thin structures do not bend well when weight is applied. The subtle shift others feel first. It changes before he names it. Others feel it first. At a gathering, voices overlap, glasses clink, the room warm and crowded. He stands near the edge, back straight, weight evenly set through the feet. Someone suggests moving plans later. A few heads turn toward him without thinking. The expectation is old. Familiar. His body registers it as pressure along the spine, a slight tightening in the neck. He does not respond immediately. Not as a tactic. There is simply nothing to adjust. The pause stretches. Someone laughs to fill it. Another person answers for him, already assuming the refusal. The conversation moves on without friction, but something has been learned. In older villages, this was how a warrior became predictable. Not loud. Not dominant. Just unmoved. People stopped testing the boundary because it never yielded. Over time, the pressure disappeared, replaced by quiet avoidance or careful planning. At work, meetings shift around his schedule now. Not announced. Just done. He notices it when calendar invites arrive already adjusted. The change is efficient, almost respectful. A colleague mutters that he's rigid. The word lands lightly. It no longer demands correction. The body feels different under this attention. Less reactive. Breath steadier. The constant background tension, the need to be agreeable, thins out. Muscles hold shape without strain. Even fatigue feels cleaner, contained within effort instead of apology. At home, the shift is closer. His partner watches him prepare for the morning, the repetition exact. The floor is cold. He kneels anyway to tie laces, fingers moving without hurry. She asks if he ever gets tired of doing it the same way. He shrugs. The answer would be unnecessary. The question lingers longer than comfort allows. In training halls, this was the moment instructors watched for. When the students stopped forcing and started being. Movements lost drama. Faces went neutral. The discipline stopped announcing itself and began displacing others' expectations instead. He feels it when invitations come with disclaimers. When jokes soften before reaching him. When people stop asking him to compromise and start working around his presence instead. Some drift away. Others grow quieter. The social field reorganizes itself without discussion. That night, walking home, streetlights flicker on. The air is cool, skin tightening along the arms. His steps fall into rhythm, unhurried. He notices the absence again. No inner dialogue. No review. Just movement through space. This was never about control. It was about becoming unreliable to pressure. People expect you to bend because bending has always worked. When it stops working, they don't argue. They adjust. And somewhere in that adjustment, a line is drawn that no longer needs defending. The line you no longer explain. Discipline is not something you perform each day. It is something that settles into the body until movement happens without permission. You feel it now in the small things. The way your feet touch the floor before thought. The way your hands prepare the morning without checking mood. Cold air fills the lungs. The spine aligns. The body knows where it is supposed to be. The strongest person in the room is not the loudest. It is the one who no longer negotiates. Once negotiation ends, something strange happens. Pressure loses its language. Requests soften. Expectations reroute. People stop leaning on you because there is nothing to lean against. Not resistance. Absence. This is why discipline makes others uncomfortable. It removes flexibility they depended on. It forces them to face their own habits when yours no longer mirror them. Some will respect it quietly. Some will drift away. Both are adjustments you do not manage. You were never meant to convince anyone. Only to become predictable enough that persuasion fails. The body understands this before the mind does. It relaxes when choice disappears. It steadies when routines repeat. It stops asking for permission when identity is clear. If you are here, you already know where you bend. You know the place you explain too much. You know the habit you soften for comfort. Comment your commitment. One sentence. No context. No defense. Not to promise change, but to draw the line you will stop crossing.